What's up everyone, it's Squirtle from Splash Brothers here, bringing you another interesting and hopefully informative video, but just wanted to start off first with showing off my new playmat that arrived this week. Pretty happy with it. Trainer Red and Gengar hanging out in the rain together at the bus stop. Matching umbrellas, I just think it's really cute, and I thought that each of you would enjoy it, but this will serve as the backdrop for today's video, so without further ado, let's get into it, eh? Okay, so it's been a great 2 weeks for Squirtle. It's me. And I've won the last two of the hobby events at tcgcollector. So I'll start off with the first event that I won 2 weeks ago, using my Steel Dragon deck, which I really like. Utilising a few key cards here. So I've got Bronzong with the metal transfer ability, allowing me to move the steel energy from one of my Pokemon to another of my Pokemon. Also using cards like Zacian V. Great card to get out at the beginning of the game to get that free Intrepid Sword off. And it's awesome with that Brave Blade 230 attack. But realistically, the Intrepid Sword is the hero of this card, allowing me to get the steel energy from the draw power onto the Zacian, and then I can Bronzong it away onto the mainstayer of the deck, which is Duraludon VMAX Single Strike, with its Skyscraper ability, which says prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon that have special energy attached, which is awesome. But also that G-Max Pulverization ability, which hits through all the effects that your opponent's Pokemon might have, unless it's got a big Parasol on it. This attack's damage isn't affected by effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. With the single strike energy on it, to fulfill the fighting requirement, means that instead of a 220 base, it's going to hit for at least 240 and a maximum of 300. But it's just a pretty cool card there, and just that ability is pretty awesome, in that most cards at the moment in format are using some form of special energy to make them run there. And here's the Rainbow Hyper Rare version that I'm running in the deck as well. Came up for purchase, and I just couldn't resist myself. I needed to buy it there. I'm running one copy of Duraludon V, single strike with the dragon type, and then I'm also running 2 copies of the steel version Duraludon V. And the reason why is I can still evolve it into the single strike Duraludon VMAX, but also I can Metal Saucer onto this, which takes the steel energy from my discard pile and attaches it there. And then the last card that I feel like mentioning as part of this deck, which makes it really great, is Crystal Cave here. So once during each player's turn, that player may heal 30 damage from each of their Steel Pokemon and Dragon Pokemon. So because this deck only runs Steel and Dragons, apart from the 2 Crobat Vs that you may have seen as I cycled through cards, it basically heals my entire field for 30 damage each turn, which is really cool. And I've got a cheeky copy of Rose in there, which, as you can read there, attach up to 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon VMAX. If you attach any energy in this way, discard your hand. So it's a great card to play when you've got bugger all cards left, and you can take 2 energy from your discard pile, attach them straight to Duraludon VMAX, single strike energy hopefully already on it, and you can start to attack there. So it's just really good when something gets knocked out and you need to accelerate energy the following turn onto another Duraludon VMAX. So I really like it there, and then just running 2 copies of 2/2 line of Bronzong and Bronzor, just to help with that energy switch power, moving energy around the field if something's about to switch or something like that. Then that's really cool. And then running things like Tool Jammer, 1 copy of Tool Jammer to help punch through Big Parasol if it gets in the way, for example on Sigle. And then also running a copy of Tool Scrapper in order to have multiple ways of getting rid of those cards. So if you're wanting something a bit different to play, and something that's really useful and can be really effective against the majority of decks that you could possibly come against that run special energy, then try out Duraludon VMAX, and I just really suggest it. I just think it's a really cool deck to play. It's nice and fun, it's nice and quick with that 3 energy requirement. It's not too much powering up going on. So, yep, so that's that. But moving on, let's talk about the other deck that I played this week. In fact, it was last night at TCG's hobby event. And that was my Ice Rider VMAX deck, featuring, believe it or not, Ice Rider VMAX, calyrex. With that max lance attack there being the normal one that I'm using, and you may discard up to 2 energy from this Pokemon. If you do, this attack does 120 more damage for each card you discarded in this way. And then using other cards to get the acceleration going, such as cards that help, Capacious Bucket. Search your deck for 2 water energy cards and reveal them and put them into your hand. So as you discard energy, it just helps you get more energy back to your hand. Because I don't run any rule box Pokemon with abilities, and then Path to the Peak Stadium is awesome with the which turns off Zacian V, turns off Crobat V, turns off Duraludon VMAX, and just allows me to hit through and it cause a lot of disruption in today's gameplay. One of the main supporters for this deck is the Melony card. It came out in Chilling Reign. Allows me to attach a water energy card from my discard pile to one of your Pokemon V. If you do, draw 3 cards. Now, Pokemon V also includes Pokemon VMAX. It's got V in the name. It counts. And so this is just a really great card to be using to discard energy off my Shadow Rider and then putting it back on with Melony the following turn. Which is really, really good. So, and then the engine. What else am I using for an engine? I hear you asking. Well, the other engine that I'm using is the Sobble evolving into Drizzile engine. So Sobble from Rapid Strike, just because if I happen to not have cards on the field, going second, unlucky enough to go second, I can use the Keep Calling attack to get the other Sobbles onto the field, and means I won't be knocked out turn 2. And then also using the evolution line, so evolving into Drizzile, Shady Dealings ability from the Sword and Shield based Drizzile. So when I evolve it, I can search my deck for any trainer card and put it into my hand. Once I've done that, then I shuffle my deck. And then on top of that, then I'm also running Inteleons as well. So first Inteleon I'm running is this one here, with the quick shooting ability. Once during your turn, you may put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Just really helps to accelerate damage. So I run 2 copies of this Inteleon, and I run 1 copy of this Inteleon here from Sword and Shield base. When I play this Pokemon from my hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 trainer cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. And then you shuffle your deck. So it's really, really cool there. And then the Aqua Bullet attack there, 120 damage, and it also does 20 damage to one of my opponent's bench Pokemon. So I use this, or I look for this, when I'm coming up against a Decidueye, because between this and this, I can knock out one Decidueye every turn. So it just means that I'm not completely lost in the dark should I come up against a Decidueye deck. So that's really cool. And then using the other staple supporters, cards like Boss's Orders, switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with the active Pokemon, just so that I can move around things as I need to in order to take easy price cards. So yeah, but this was a great deck. Really, really good against Eternatus with the Path to the Peak ability, Path to the Peak Stadium, and also using a supporter called Avery. So for those of you who don't know what Avery does, and I'm currently looking for the copy of it that lives in this deck, is that you draw 3 cards. Step 1, draw 3 cards. And then step 2 is if you did this, if you drew cards in this way, and then you may discard your opponent's, well, your opponent discards cards from their bench until they have only 3 remaining. So between using Path to the Peak a few times as they play their own stadiums, and then also using Avery with decks like Eternatus, which is really, really strong at the moment with the Umbreon VMAX line and the Moltres V line, it just means that I can just be discarding their cards from play, and because I don't run any Pokemon recovery in the deck, it means I can start to starve it of a Pokemon and really limit the damage that Eternatus VMAX can do, and they really have to switch their tactic in order to keep going. So yeah. So there we go. In a nutshell, that's what's been going on in Christchurch the last couple of weeks. We've had this week's winner being Ice Rider VMAX. We had last week's winner being Duraludon VMAX. There he is there. and it's been a fun time. So it'll be interesting to see what takes the prize next week. I don't even know what I'm going to play next week yet. Might play something different. Keep mixing it up. Might play some Shadow Rider. Might play some Blastoise VMAX. May even play something old school. Well, not old school, but just older in the format, like Wailord V or something like that. Just to kind of mess with people, keep them on their toes. They can't build. Means they can't necessarily build decks around me to counter. But yeah, it's been a fun time. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments below. Like and subscribe our channel if you haven't done already. But from those of us at the Splash Brothers, being Joel, aka Squirtle, you got Alex, aka Poliwag, and AJ, aka Magikarp. It's peace out from us. Peace out from Red and Gengar. And I hope you have a great week. And thanks for watching.